got the Meat Market Fantasy Network, episode 5, highly anticipated episode, very special guest in the building. We got the Darren Waller Sweepstakes. There's a lot going on right now, so we might as well get into it. Further ado, guys, I present to you the trade block sitter, the mid-round pick flipper, the waiver wire whisperer, the hairy bushwhacker.
Let's go, boys. Let's go. How's my audio? How we sounding? We're looking good, obviously.
Sound great, look great, man.
Fantastic, Gotta get the sponsor in there. A little Jay Smitty action, represent the fam, Life's good,
I'm digging the stash, actually.
Hey, it's summer stash season, my boy.
Yeah, I like it, man.
I mean, are you sending any early signals with the Jeremiah Smith jersey? I mean, we don't have to get straight into it, but are you signaling anything here? Is the smoke screen?
Well, we all know my pretenses. We all know what I lean towards, Yeah, I just want to say that not this season, right? It would be next season. Big season for me, Gotta really suck. Gotta really suck it up. We're gonna be competing for the bottom.
Suspect use of verbiage, but understand what you're trying to convey there. I want to start off by just saying, is there anything, sitting on your chest right now that you need to get off? Anything weighing on you that you maybe want to air out now before we deep dive into the questions?
Yeah, I just want to clear the air about, the process. Obviously there were flaws in the process, but this is okay. Let's flash back to October of 2024. I was ready to, make my mark, do a big swing, go for the fences. I thought this could be my year, and it's house money. You win the first year, it's house money from there. So, my friend Cam over here, he did have a certain Ohio State receiver. He did, and I had a good amount of receivers. Godwin just went down, so we need to supplant that issue. Nico Collins might have went down too, so okay, the writing might have been on the wall, but I was trying to stay afloat. I made a trade. You could put the trade in there. It's what is it? First round and second round. My first round that year, I was 10-4, 10-2 maybe. So I was like, okay, go take 112. I'll take Olave, whatever. And then I want to say within one quarter, Olave gets a concussion and he's out for the fucking season.
I'm looking at the trade right now. You spent your the 2025 first round pick and a 2025 fourth to get Chris Olave, who ended up going down with a concussion, as we all know. That's what happens when you start purchasing players with your fanhood in the back of your mind. You can't be a homer here in Dynasty. You got to keep a level head and look towards the future. So,
I mean, bushwhacker, look, I think the writing's on the wall, brother, right? We see the flag going up. We kind of get where the franchise is at, but I don't like to speculate. There's been a roster overhaul. There's been asset liquidation, some draft acquisitions that were, questionable.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, where are you at emotionally right now? I mean, heading into this season, can you just you were one of the guys who you were stirring up a ruckus. You're kind of going back and forth with the salary cap. So I mean, just in your own words, where are you at emotionally headed into the season?
My emotions are, I'm giving donations away for this league, obviously. I do not expect to win. I expect to brutally. It's not even a great draft really to have like a top pick, because I don't know. We don't know. There's no one certain in this draft. So is Archibald might be available. We'll see.
Maybe not. We'll see. I guess
we'll see. I mean, if I would say we'll check them out in college. If they're talking great prospect, number one guy, Gino out the door, Purdy available. Now I can start moving a little flexibly.
Wait, time out. Let me pause you before this gets too far. Are you saying names that you want to let the league know that they're on the block and you're ready to sell? Is that what you're saying? I heard you bring up Brock Purdy there. Is there any other names you want to add to this list? Just to let the league know, hey, come and acquire these guys because I'll sell them at maybe a price that you wouldn't get them in a different league. Is there any names?
Well, I will say Gino is one. Gino is one because I have Brock Purdy and CJ. That can last me, years, man, years.
Maybe, maybe not. Any vets? I'm looking at your roster right now, Bushwhacker, and
Oh.
actually, I don't even have to pull it up. I got it memorized. All right, you got Cooper Cup. All right, you got Josh Palmer.
Available.
You got Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
You got some names down there.
Yeah.
Let me just break down some moves you've made, since the end of last season, and kind of just give me a quick review or where your head was at when you made this move. You sold Chris Godwin for Brian Robinson and Christian Watson. This was
Regret.
regret. Okay, we'll
Regret.
leave it there and move on. Okay, then you
Bad.
sold Jaden Reed for Najee Harris in a 2025 second that turned into
Regret.
Dylan Sampson. Okay.
Regret.
Who did that turn into?
The pick, he did this trade during the draft, actually, and I have some insider information I'm going to keep close to my chest, just out of respect for the Bushwhacker. But he moved Jaden Reed for Najee Harris and a second-round pick. That
Jesus.
second-round pick ended up being Dylan Sampson. I believe it was at like the 210, maybe 200.
This man broke character.
I know, Chip. It's hard to stay focused here, but when we got Harry Bush here, we got to ask him these questions because when are we going to get the answers? Do you know anything about Dylan Sampson? Let me just pick your brain on that guy as a prospect.
So what I know about Dylan Sampson is that he is not the North Carolina running back.
Okay,
well, he is a North Carolina running back. He is a North Carolina running back. That he went to a different North Carolina school. Is Clemson in North Carolina?
Dylan Sampson played at Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Well, the orange.
All right. Well, at least he's young. We got to, devil's advocate.
Okay.
We got to find the positive. Dylan Sampson's
orange.
Yeah.
He's coming. Sonic and Knuckles, baby. Let's go. Just like Ohio State.
Over the last 90 days, you've put Brock Purdy, Najee Harris, Joshua Palmer, Brian Robinson, and Brenton Strange all on the trade block. Now, none of these players have moved. Are these smoke? I mean, what's going through your mind when you're taking offers for this kind of blue chip talent?
Well, I'm interested in fielding the offers and seeing if there's anything worth getting off, because if there is, then I will do it. But
you're kind of just
Mostert. Jesus.
So you picked up Mostert this offseason off the waiver wire. I remember that. That was a few months ago when I opened up.
That was before they got what's his face?
Genty.
Yeah.
Yeah, Genty from Boise State. This is you make me worrisome. This is why I checked in with you as the commissioner not too long ago, just to kind of get a gauge of where your head's at, Bushwhacker.
Well, let me say this.
Go ahead.
I had a very, successful run in fantasy in general. Just never missed the playoffs for my first 4 or 5 years. So I would say around last season was fucking awful for me. During the draft, I was smelling my own farts. Laporta second round. I was just heat check after heat check after heat check, and look where it got me. And that was in every league.
One more acquisition here, because I think what might be going under the radar here a bit is Bushwhacker could be playing, operating at a different level. Okay, because if you recall, on May 31st, he acquired Calvin Austin. Then he actually said later on in the GM that it was a bad move. But is this 4D chess? Is this you seeing the Rodgers thing before it takes place?
Yeah, man. I just hope that, Calvin Austin, I hope he believes in the Bohemian Grove and, can have very relatable conversations with Aaron about, vaccines and Antifa or what may not be, shrooms, things like that. Hopefully he has that kind of personality because I think then we have a real shot at wide receiver too. I mean, he is Steelers wide receiver too. I think Aaron still got it. I think he still got it. On the Jets, no. But on the Steelers, in that, structured environment, it's not about Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers. It's never going to be about Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers. On the Jets, it was just a fucking media circus. Is Aaron Rodgers at training camp? Like, I don't fucking know. But
It's funny you say that because
uh-huh.
I'm looking at your roster again. DeAndre Hopkins, Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp. You just came out and said you still believe in Aaron Rodgers. It makes me think. Are you stuck in the past a little bit, Bushwhacker, or are you locked in? Are you locked in, buddy? Because you're some of the things you say makes me question
Yeah.
if you're in tune with the youth in the league right now,
Right.
and or if you kind of were on your high horse, in
Mhm.
previous leagues, and maybe thought you would just it was going to be smooth sailing coming into the meat market, and then you came across a couple of juggernauts, you made a couple wrong moves, and kind of dug
Mhm.
yourself a hole here. Hey, full circle, Ray Davis isn't on my roster anymore. I ended up selling him to good old gushing and farting. You could maybe inquire about that. I know that guy loves to get deals done. I don't know what the relationship is between your two front offices, but you could
Great.
acquire Ray Davis. Brenton Strange, you
Oh.
know, I kind of want to pick your brain on this because I have a feeling you're kind of high on Brenton Strange.
I will say this. For me, Brenton Strange, he's pretty. I do have Laporta and Kraft, so I'll never need to start him. But he did have an 11 catch game. Jaguars, yes, and only 73 yards. But I remember that game. That game stuck in my head, and I was like, what? You kind of got to grab a guy who could get open 11 times in a game, even if it's the scheme, which I wouldn't, pretend to know about, but it probably was something along those lines. Um, then he followed up with 2 for 22. That's kind of a see where it goes. Similar to Parker Washington, who did I don't know what. Well, I guess I dropped Parker Washington. I don't know.
Bushwhacker doesn't even know the new moves he's making in the beat market. Chip, can you believe this, man?
I
I'm
mean, week one, you are taking on Evan Dodgen. Right now, you're projected 107 points to his 110. You're right in it. Now, in fairness, this was the team that finished at the bottom of the totem pole last year, right? So this isn't exactly who you want to be duking it out with week one. What are you saying to rally the troops? I mean, and again, are you considering adding pieces to your coaching arsenal? I know there was some whispers around potentially another coach acquisition. I mean, break it down for us.
Yeah, that actually never crossed my desk. I think I'm kind of the Jerry Jones of this roster. Right now, it may seem like 90-year-old Jerry Jones, a little senile with the decision making, but I think we're gonna get back to the '90s pretty soon, boys. I think we're gonna get back to the '90s. We're gonna start dominating next couple of years.
Chip
2027. Mark your
Chip mentioned
calendars.
something. Chip mentioned something, and it got me thinking. He said you have some decent talent, and
Yeah,
I tend to agree you do.
yeah.
So when you're looking at a dynasty roster, is this something I want to ask you? Do you think you're bad enough to tank and get that 101 or 102? Or there's still some pieces you may need to sell before the
Mm-hmm.
season starts that's going to carry some points out because you got to
Mm-hmm.
remember how Kamish set this league up. It's not about win totals and losses. It's about
Mm-hmm.
total points forward. So if you got guys on your bench scoring points, it's not helping you tank necessarily. So I'm kind of looking at your roster thinking you maybe one or two sells away still from actually successfully pulling a tank season. What do you think
Mm-hmm.
about that?
Well, I think that's a great point that you made. I do have a lot of vets, and I I just think that the reason I have Cup is because I'm still maybe stuck in the past, as Chip did mention, but I think there's a chance, man. I think there's a chance. Who they got at quarterback? They got Darnold.
Sam Darnold. See, this is my issue with every
I'm
time I
saying
try to
I'm saying to up the value though. Up the
e-
value.
okay. So you're talking about a pump and dump. You're talking
Pump
about
and dump.
a week four.
Yeah.
He had 2 touchdowns. Now, hey guys, you want to buy Cooper Cup?
Yep. That's why I'm
Split.
keeping the trio. Keenan Allen may be a little different because this is definitely probably his last year. Cup probably 1, 2 more, 3 more years if he's good this year. That's a big if. D Hop, who wants him? Who wants him?
I want the best for you, Harry Bush, and I'm getting the vibe that you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out on the tank, and that doesn't really bode well, time after time,
I think it's more related to, the way my brain works, like with, the stock market and things like that. I'm just trying to, see if I can get those stocks up. I look at these guys like stocks, and right now I'd be selling at rock bottom. I'd be selling at penny stocks. But what if I can get that up to, $3, $4 a share, and then all of a sudden now we can talk a little bit. I'm not saying anything crazy, but
Yeah.
I can extract value from if Cooper Cup comes out and he has 10 receptions for freaking 112 yards like he used to do all the fucking time. Someone's gonna want him. Somebody's gonna want him, and I will be willing to give it to them for the right price.
They always say there's no way to make a bad investment worse other than to double down. And, this strategy here is certainly a strategy, brother. But hey, to your point, you can't get out of the room if you don't open the door. And, you'll be wandering around in there, but you'll find the knob. And when you do, I trust that you'll inquire with a guy like myself who holds more draft capital than anyone, in contrast to the point that you made earlier last week. But that's okay.
I was
I'm
looking
gonna
at
open
the wrong
door for
roster,
you.
bro.
Well, they say never attribute to malice what can be attributed to ignorance. So I'm going to let this one slide, brother.
There you go. There you go.
But again, a lot of people are going to focus on the now. All right. We've kind of talked about the now and the future, but for a moment, I want to talk about how we got here. And so I pulled up the draft from this year, and I'm breaking it down. And you took Dylan Sampson
Yes.
ahead of the following: Jalen Noel, Tyler Shuck, Pat Bryant, Brashard Smith. Are any of these names
Tyler Shuck, quarterback.
starting? Yep, Tyler Shuck, quarterback. Are any of these names starting to pique your interest a bit, make you rethink how you approach this year's rookie draft?
Okay, I know Pat Bryant. I've heard those three, but those middle two, I don't know. I didn't. My scouts, I gotta, maybe hire some new ones.
I think you got to get a couple more troops on the ground, Harry.
I do.
I think that's where maybe you're out of touch with things here in the
Right.
meat market. I think you need to get a few more troops on the ground.
Mhm.
Get a lay of the land, and you start knowing who these Pat Bryants and Xavier Restrepos and Brashard Smiths are. I think that is going to do you a great service.
Totally.
I'm not here to necessarily give advice, but I feel like you need some, and you got some future picks. I would highly suggest you dig into the film room, and when the time comes, you make an
Be ready.
educated decision.
Yeah, I mean, I did see there was whispers of some front office acquisitions last night. I'm not going to give out any names here on the network. I'm starting to believe there could be some smoke to that fire, though. Just with what we're seeing here, kind of backtracking through the draft, I wouldn't hate if a certain franchise that has two GMs or owners and yourself get in discussions, and maybe you figure out a way to add one of those. GMs.
The roster you're talking about, it had quite the turnaround this offseason, and I don't know, where to give credit to which of those managers, but
I mean, can we just come out and say it?
Yeah, go
Andrew
ahead.
Liscano's in the market for Justin Katzen. I just want to report that live on the network. And I
texted me that.
I think he'd be a fool not to consider, to Butch's point, what we just saw this offseason. It was a masterclass, and what we saw from Harry Bushwhacker was some case of borderline self-harm. I mean, we had to pull you in today onto the network, get this interaction going, and just make sure there's not trouble in paradise over there in sunny Sacramento, California.
Yeah, it's quite sunny, by the way.
I wouldn't mind, Katzen moving camps, over there to Sacramento with the Bushwhacker. It may start out rough, but I think Katzen's bringing some value that these managers don't realize, and
absolutely.
Myers, reaping the benefits, in the shadows.
Mm-hmm. I will say, that actually has not crossed my desk. Luckily, as an owner, I make the decisions. So I don't have an owner saying, "Oh, we got to get you this guy in here." The buck stops here. and I'm accountable. I sniff my own farts for a year, but I think we're back now. I was humbled. We're not back. I'm rebuilding. I was humbled though.
Well, to be fair, you might be back. I think you finished somewhere around sixth place. That might be reasonable. You could be back.
I was 1.05 draft pick that I traded.
You finished in seventh. I mean, I would say it's not a stretch to say you're back. I think 7 is reasonable.
Well, if you consider the fact that I started like 10-2, 10-4, and then ended up in 7th place, not missing the playoffs, it was pretty bleak. I became the worst team in the league. I think I probably finished with like 11. Maybe I had one more like in the win column by the end of the season. So it got ugly.
I just want to, on the record, I haven't given up on Bushwhacker's team. I've seen this guy win championships in fantasy football. When things go right, this guy hits. I've seen it in the past, and I've seen him in multiple championships. Now, it wasn't Dynasty, it was redraft. It was a tad bit different. But I think, after this rocky first season for Harry, he'll figure it out. He'll get his ducks in a row. It might take some time, and it's not all about winning the league every year. I just want to make the announcement for the rest of the meat market. There's a $50 payout every single week for 14 weeks. Okay, that's $700 on the table. From week 1 to 14 to kind of recoup some of your buy-in. So it's not all about finishing in first or second or third to get money. You can scrape out some wins here and there throughout the season, and that goes for you too, Bush. Since you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, maybe you still have a chance to win some weekly high payouts, which I hope so, because I would hate for you to be donating your money every year for the next couple seasons.
Yeah, just need that explosive Josh Palmer game.
Hey, maybe Josh Palmer goes for 11 receptions like Brenton Strange, huh?
Who knows? And maybe at some point, that Noah stack comes earlier than expected. If that Noah stack comes earlier than expected, then my team isn't championship good, but my team is competitive. Like, I just need a wide receiver 2 that I can rely on. I have a CJ stack still with Noah. There's some opportunities, and I will say, last season, let's call it my Deontay Johnson season. Let's call it that.
I kind of want to get away from maybe, talking about how you designed your team and maybe, tunnel vision, zoom into, maybe some other things in the league.
Well, the one roster I've been staring at, like, subliminally a lot is Evans because of our matchup. And I really, really, really like his team just because he has Genty and Travion Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has Jordan Addison. A lot of youth there.
You think Dodgen could be the future of this league potentially?
I think he not next year, but give it a couple years, But I think that I envy where Evans at as a rebuilding franchise. That's what I will say. And then Locke, your team, it's a little bit too much, man. It's too much of a wagon, man. It's kind of intimidating to look at.
The wheels fall off eventually, brother. It just takes a couple injuries.
It takes a couple injuries, Speaking of that, respectfully to my guy, Mr. Lark, Kyle Lark. I hate to say it, man, but I really hope that your team just gets fucking obliterated next year because I have his draft pick. So, respectfully, respect.
What's going on with that, Harry? Harry, whoa, coming out of the gate swinging.
I mean, what has Lark done?
What did Pukaki do to you?
What Lark has done is his draft pick ended up in my hands, so I am incentivized for him to be fucking ass. But his team is really fucking good. You got Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones probably cooked. He has to be cooked by now. Puka Nacua, AJ Brown, T. Higgs. You got Scatabo coming in the ranks. J.K. Dobbins.
Kyle Lark, if you want to respond to this, there's no better place to do it than on the network. This is an open invitation.
Colston, love it. I see. But the thing is, yep, I agree with that. But the thing is, I really do like his team a lot. It's really fucking good. The problem is, I'm saying because.
Well, hold on a second. This is where I interject.
Yeah.
What are we? I want to get to what I call a source of truth. Okay, yes. This is something we're all going to agree upon.
Yes.
When we're throwing out these terms, they're really good. I really like his team. What are we basing this on? Is this based on wins? Is this based on performance? I need somebody to break it down for me because I don't recall any of these teams you're mentioning doing anything in the playoffs last year, any meaningful wins.
Yeah.
Again, I'm
Well,
trying
let's
to
be
put it
clear.
together, but
Let's be clear. I did mention Locke's team, and you won, right?
I did indeed win. And Chip, I kind of know what you're getting at here. Blessing people before they deserve to maybe be blessed. Flowers given early. I think this is just what you do in the off season. It's the beginning of July. There's no training camp. You project. All we're left with is projections, and that's what the Bushwhacker is doing over there is projecting what he thinks maybe can happen for these rosters. Who knows? Who goes down within a lot of things happen during the
Yeah.
football season.
I just got to know, Bushwhacker. I'll throw out a number. You tell me over under if you spit more or less fab than this on Darren Waller. Let's set it at 35.5.
It's funny you say
This
that
is going
because
to
I
say a
did
lot.
look at it today. I didn't make the bid yet. I did not make the bid yet. But it is something that intrigues me. I could sit on that and trade him because like I said, I'm set at TE. But I'm not gonna. I will say I'm not planning on over investing in Darren Waller. I love him, the greatest player, but he's a little bit old, man. He's a little bit old, and I get he retired because he wants to play for New York.
Point blank, period. Harry Bushwhacker, I'll be frank. Acquiring Darren Waller does absolutely nothing for the build you have. I swear to you, if you put in a bid
I
over
agree.
20 fab for Darren Waller, I will refund your fab and put Darren Waller back on the waiver wire for you as a service as the commissioner. I will not let you acquire 32-year-old Darren Waller while you saw what Akipo did. Akipo did whatever Myers got going on over there. It worked this offseason, all right? He completely turned around his team. And that involved selling Lamar Jackson, which I think is pretty crazy to do in a dynasty league. And he successfully did it. He's sitting with
That is
Caleb Williams,
crazy.
And again, when we start success, they look good. I get it. Are we sure?
Oh, I'm not sure at all on Akipo, but I'm saying
So
his
wait and
team.
see.
It looks good.
On paper, it looks better.
Keep Trade Cut loves this guy.
I can see the range of outcomes is great.
You're spot on.
Yeah, and he fleeced me and for what's his face, and for Jaden Reed, and he still has some really trendy guys. In terms of like real football hipster guys. He has Cedric Tillman and Rashid Shaheed on the bench, Hollywood on the bench. There's tradable pieces there. There's tradable pieces at minimum.
When you say a Bush,
they're not crown jewels, but they're assets. They're assets.
Hey, Mr. Whacker, let me rephrase it. You said Garrett fleeced you. I would like to say you kind of fleeced yourself on that one, brother.
I did fleece myself on that one.
It was about 1 in the afternoon. It was about 1 in the afternoon on a Saturday, and I saw the alert go through, and I said, I honestly kind of blamed myself. I'm going to be completely honest. I blamed myself because I felt like you made that move because there was a lot of eyes and a lot of pressure on the Houston Texans in the meat market, for lack of a better term. I felt like you kind of got pressured into that trade, and I don't ever want to do that to any of the managers. So I hate that happened, and I hope you bounce back from that. Maybe sell a Najee or Dylan Sampson at some point, or get off of Brian Robinson. I scratching my head about these running backs on your team if you're tanking, but hey, neither here nor there.
You're telling me, dog.
Before we get off here, I don't know when your next appearance on the network is going to be, so I highly advise for you to air out anything you want to air out for the managers. All eyes, all ears are watching and listening to the network. So go ahead, speak your piece.
Well, before I do that, I did just get a notification, Schefter. It says Harry Bushwhacker will not be accepting any co-owners for the foreseeable future. He just got extended.
Mr. Bushwhacker. solo bushwhacker. Yes, you should call him from moving moving on from this point.
It feels like a weight was lifted off my shoulders just to have job security. Just to
Mhm.
be able to know when I go into work tomorrow, it's not going to be too many, hands at the table, too many mouths to feed. It's going to be
Hey,
me making decisions, and I'm gonna lock back in, baby. I'm gonna lock back
you're,
in.
I hope
But
you do. I got faith in you. I believe in you. I just want give you your moment right now. Is it
absolutely,
Stefan? Is it Evan Dodgen? Is it Lark? Is it Riley? Who's sending you bad offers? Who's sending you good offers? Who do you want to work with in the future? This is the place to say it and air it out. Go ahead, Bush.
yeah, yeah. So I think as I said on the previous episode, the sharks are definitely swimming. They are sending me offers that make me want to. Quite frankly, I don't know if this is available for YouTube, but blow my brains out. They it makes me really like Jesus Christ, man. I want to just close the app. Maybe delete it. By the way, ESPN's better than Sleeper. Um, and then also, yes, I will say there are some that are bad, and then all of a sudden I'll get like a good one, and it throws me off because I'm so used to seeing the bad ones that I just think that there has to be something to it. Just like when, well, I guess I chose Najee. I'm so dumb. I'm sorry. That Chargers, I need to get fucking. I need to learn about the Chargers, man. I need to learn about the Chargers.
You
They're
need to
just too
lock in.
boring.
You need to
I
lock
do.
in,
I
Harry.
do.
We got
I do.
a month or two before kickoff. I need you to lock in, all right?
I,
Because
I
this
thought
stuff.
Najee was going to be Harbaugh's bell cow, and then I found out they drafted a rookie. Believe I love them all individually. I think that you know I will be back. It'll be year 5, year 6 of this dynasty, but I will be back, and I will be back with a vengeance because luckily this isn't year 4, and I'm making all these disgusting moves. I know they're disgusting. I know now. I know in retrospect, which is
You're learning
hindsight's
as you
2020.
go.
Getting your
Yes,
first
I
credit
am.
card,
What was
right?
that, Chip? What
Yes,
was that?
exactly.
With like getting your first credit card, right? You go to a shoe store here, you go to the local
Mm-hmm.
watering hole there. All of a sudden, there's a thousand
Now I have
dollars,
money.
right? It's how this thing works. At the end of the day, we believe in you, Bush. Whether you're going north, south, east, or west, my only advice here is just don't count out a guy like Justin Katzen. I know you mentioned there might be too many mouths to feed, but right now I think the league is questioning if there's enough hands to cook. And we're going to
Right.
find ourselves in a sticky situation here if we're relying on the Dylan Sampsons of the world to come out of the third round and make an impact on our rosters.
Right.
Something
Well,
that
I
I would
will
love
say
to
that it's
see.
yeah. Please.
Something I would love to see,
Oh, something you'd
before.
love to see.
Yeah, something I'd
Okay.
love to see
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
kickoff this season is I would love to see, just maybe a transaction or two, leaning in or leaning out of the tank. I think that would, maybe solidify where you're at in the league a little more. It's kind of gray right now, if I'm being quite frank. Moving Najee definitely, tells the tale a little bit, but I think there's a few more acquisitions or trades to be done. Maybe it's during the season, as you mentioned before, selling at a high point, but I think there's enough sharp people in this league that know when to buy and when not to buy. So I wouldn't put all your eggs in the basket of selling high during the season.
Right. I agree. I will say though that I think with the Nico trade and then the couple of boss trades I did that the direction is clear. I have 2 first-round picks this year, 2 first-round picks next year. My team is going to be terrible. Like, there's no way around it. It's going to be bad. Um, and yeah, so I think that I kind of like I don't like where I'm at because I put myself in a shitty situation. But I think that this is salvageable, and I am confident in myself that I can really turn this around and maybe not be an embarrassment in terms of trades because holy shit, I get secondhand embarrassment just thinking about it.
I got one final question and we'll get off the air here. Are you putting any I got one final question here and then we'll get off the air. Are you putting any, time aside during the week or the weekend, to kind of, level up the dynasty knowledge or dive into maybe the future? I know you got future picks. Harry, I mean, talk to me. are you looking into getting any, more knowledgeable about the younger players or college athletes, or are you kind of tunnel vision,
Ohio
OHIO,
State.
OHIO, or it don't go on my team? You know what I'm saying? You got to grow,
Yeah,
right?
it's like I kind of base players on how they do it. Like Tyler Warren, 4 catches, 42 yards against Ohio State. Please, no, I'm just kidding. I saw him against USC. He's fucking amazing. Um, I will say, it's a lot of Big Ten. It's a lot of Big Ten oriented stuff. Um, team up north got a bunch of bums. I think I got that running back from there. Mullings. Do I have him? Yeah, I do. What do you guys think of him?
Chip, I'll let you take this one.
Khalil Mullings. I'm going to be honest with you. Mullings is a guy who I don't have a ton of faith in, but I think if there's anything that you want to hold on to, I think he's got some PPR to him. He's
Okay.
got a little gap back to him. I don't hate the pickup. Like I said, if you can find value out there on the Fab in
Yep.
June, yeah, do it.
Throwing
Don't let
pebbles.
anyone convince you not to.
Uh-huh. And then what do you think of Manungai?
I'll let Locke Butch get this one.
Yeah, Monunga. I know you're a Chicago Bears homer there, so you like the Monunga. I like the Monunga pick too. I mean, they acquire no other running backs. It's DeAndre Swift. Ben Johnson loves to run a dual backfield.
It's Ben Johnson.
Have a hammer there in Monunga. I think he's good in pass blocking situations. It's one of my favorite darts you threw this offseason. Him and Calvin Austin. I think you can salvage some points and maybe get a third later for him and turn that third into a package deal with a 1. But that's just my wheels turning a little too quick. I like Monunga. I don't hate it at all. I think you should throw the most darts out of. You and a couple other rosters should be throwing darts as much as you can get. If that's selling a higher asset and then maybe acquiring all right player, then a load of darts underneath that player, to package it up. I think, you want to get transactions done that you have a lot of outs, as a rebuilder. So I like Monunga. There's a chance for him to, score some touchdowns, I think.
Exactly.
The final thing I want to leave you off with here, Bushwhacker, a little segment. I'm going to offer you a trade right now, live on the market. This is the caveat, though. This is the only time you're going to get this trade.
Okay.
It's the only time you're getting this offer. All right. I don't know if Butch wants to break out a timer here for us, take any notes, keep us
I'll
in
take some
line.
notes and I'll put a 1-minute timer on when you finish your sentence. Go ahead and offer them.
I'm going to offer you a 2026 second, a 2026 second, and another 2026 second, along with the 2026 third and a 2026 fourth for Brock Purdy.
Okay, before I start the timer, that's going to be 3 2026 seconds, a 2026 third, and
a 26 fourth.
So we got 3 seconds, a third, and a fourth for Brock Purdy. 1 minute on the clock. You're on, Bushwhacker. If
you get one counter.
Need me to resay the trade? I can do that. 3
I
seconds next year, a third, and a fourth.
will say for a long-term starting quarterback, it's a lot of draft equity. I kind of need a first-round pick in there. We gotta reconfigure those picks. We need a first.
Would you like me to throw this in keep trade cut real quick for you, Mr. Whacker?
Yeah, but that shit is fucking wrong as shit.
Hey, you got 30 seconds to counter.
30 seconds are on the clock. I will add a sweetener. I will add a sweetener. Dylan Gabriel and Darius Slayton have entered the chat.
There's some more. There are some more outs for you. We're at 3 seconds, a third, a fourth. Gabriel and Darius Slayton. Is that going to get it done?
How about
Here comes
2 seconds and a first.
And a counter. I'm going to add 30 seconds on the clock after Cam recites what he is thinking here.
No deal.
No deal. All right, we're back at the original deal. 3 seconds, a third, and a fourth. Dylan Gabriel and Darius Slayton for Brock Purdy. You got 30 seconds. You're on the clock, Bushwhacker.
I kind of need... What year? All three 2026?
All three are 2026. If you'd like, I can swap one for a 27. So
No,
that'd be
I
two
don't. I don't.
26 seconds, a 27 second, a 26 third, 26 fourth, Darius Slayton, Dylan Gabriel for Brock Purdy. And that would be my 27 second, by the way.
Okay, and then I guess I'm just a little uneducated. Has there been any word out of training camp on Shador Dillon? Because we know
I'm
Joe.
I'm not in position to give you any leverage in these debates or trade discussions.
I can work as a neutral person in the situation. There has not been much talks. The only thing I've seen is they're leaning Dylan Gabriel.
That timer's got to be dangerously low.
It is dangerously low. We're talking 5 seconds. I'll count you down, Bushwhacker. You got to say yes or no at 0. 5, 4.
No. I can't make a decision that big right now. But it might be. I might look dumb as fuck. This is how I do trade.
Okay. It would have been much better if you gave into the network there and did the deal. But I respect you for holding close to your laurels. I mean, that was an incredible reaction there from you, and I think we were close to a deal. But perhaps in the future it'll happen.
It was close. We were close. I think it's enticing. It's a good amount of draft equity, but
And before we get off the air, I got an announcement for the league. Just based off of what just happened here, you're seeing how maybe difficult it is to break through to Mr. Whacker. If you're a keep trade cut guy, I know a lot of you guys, as soon as you get an offer, you plug it in. You plug it into your calculator. The calculator had Bushwhacker winning that by over 6,000. So if you're a keep trade cut guy, I mean, hey man, you live and die on that hill.
that shit is wrong as fuck, bro.
Yeah, Bushwhacker doesn't believe in it. Maybe his team reflects it. I'm not sure. I'm not here to point fingers, but that was pure entertainment.
Can you give him an idea of the kind of player that would need to be added to even that trade out? I mean, do they have any suggested options there? Just to give him an idea of.
Do I have to?
I mean, if you could, you don't have to. If you, I mean, whatever you think.
Please do.
Oh, hold on. Let me plug in the rest because I didn't even plug in at all.
Oh my god.
Here we go. Let me plug in the Darius Slayton and Dylan Gabriel. Darius Slayton, Gabriel. It's just the problem with this calculator is when you end up putting a bunch of players for one guy, it just doesn't make sense. To get that deal done, Keep Trade Cut says players to even trade. Cam Ward, Breece Hall, Trevor Lawrence, Quinshon Judkins was the suggestion.
That's about how much you want that trade by.
Yeah.
So I think that I was just like put it on the spot and a little indecisive, but maybe I guess based on
you're
based
good.
on the resources that you have available.
No,
Hey, look, we won't back. We won't put your feet to the fire, brother. I mean, it's just that'll hey, maybe next time you're on, we'll throw you another deal.
To be fair, if I was put in that situation, I'd probably hold tight too. And I know my phone works and Cam's phone works, and maybe we could talk about this later. Maybe he ends up not adding Slayton and Dylan Gabriel, but at least I get some more time to think about the trade. Hey man, Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy.
I mean, with the information available, I do. I guess it's not. I was very close to saying yes, but I was like, what if I say yes and I get ripped off again?
Hey, go ahead and put your comment down below on if you would have took this trade or not. I'm very curious. Very curious.
Comments.
I mean, people tend to talk shit in the league. In lack of a better term, people tend to say some things here and there in the chats, and didn't know if any of that was weighing on you or.
I mean, like the thing is that like we've seen Twang, like he's made me some really crazy trades, but he also made me a good one that I liked, and that was our most recent transaction. So I kind of I don't really think now that he offered me a fair trade, I could still get one from him because I know that he offers everybody else trades that they're like accept, but for me, I wasn't getting those, and I was waiting, and I was like, accept, So we finally got there. Just got to hold out a little bit. Obviously, Cam likes to, send me the most epic poo-poo platters you'll ever see in your life of just C- rated motherfuckers, maybe D+. That it's like, okay, I have all these things I don't want, so here you take this, and then I'll take Nico Collins.
The most epic poo-poo platters. Chip, what do you... What are you doing over here? What?
So
Shark
there's
swimming,
this
baby.
this old passage, right? And it's the analogy of the man on the island.
Ooh.
A couple boats go by and they say, "Hey, sir, do you need help? I mean, you look stuck." No, no. God's got me. God's got me. All right. Bigger ship rolls by. Sir, you need help? No, God's got me. Well, the man dies on the island. He gets to heaven and he says, God, well, why didn't you save me? And he said, what do you mean? I sent you 2 boats. And I think that's where we are today. These boats, you don't know when another one's coming by, brother. And it
Yeah.
just might be what sinks your franchise if you
Mm,
don't tether on. So just something to think about here
I like it.
as we move forward throughout the network.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're with a girl. I guess maybe not you, Cam, because you're happily engaged, but you're with the girl, right? And then all of a sudden you see a way hotter girl, so you're like, I'm at least gonna try and like spit, like spit a little game, like maybe a joke or two, make my presence felt a little bit. But then all of a sudden you don't have the other girl now because she's pissed off, and then that girl didn't work out, so now you're left with nothing.
Yeah. Can we clip that so it starts the episode?
That'll be a clippable moment. One in the hand or 2 in the bush is what just got me crying. Can I please get? God damn! I mean, holy shit! Holy shit! Huh? I mean, I don't know if it gets any better than that live on the network.
Holy hell, man! This is Network After Dark, huh?
Golly.
It is in your room.
Oh,
Is that your
man.
actual room?
No, this is an edit.
I think, by the way, you might have just given us a name for a segment. This is an open invitation to a man who was called out earlier. The Network After Dark featuring Kyle Lark. I think it's got a ring to it. Kyle Lark, can we get you on the network sooner than later?
Come on, Kyle. Hey, you got a noise for that, Chip? You got a. The bad signal is up for Kyle Lark to come on the network. I want to get that, out and in the open. Let's get Lark After Dark. Let's get Lark's Lagoon up in here. You know what I'm
We
saying?
need it. Lark After Dark, baby.
The Lark Tank.
The Lark Tank. The Larks are swimming. Also, I do want to say this. I did listen to that Riley Garrett episode, Gary Riley. Vegas, impressive. Second point. Who are these trades that he's talking about? Who's in negotiations with Riley Gary? I've never seen Riley make. Has he made trades? He's made one trade, maybe. He's made one trade. I've texted him.
I've made 2 trades with the
Okay,
tush
so you
pusher.
specifically. So he's comfortable trading with you. Me, I will text him, say, hey, sent you a trade. He'll be like, oh, I'm working. And then he'll be like, oh, my bad, I forgot. And then 3 days later, he's like, oh, yeah, I just checked it out. Oh, no deal, man. And it's like, what was you said you just text him, he's responsive, it's either yes or no, and you guys go on your way.
No,
I haven't
no,
had an experience like that.
I'll jump in and back up the tush pusher a little bit here. He doesn't respond. It takes a day or two. I'm just very patient. I say no worries.
Yeah,
I
me too. Me
keep
too.
it civil, and then he says I'm kind of cool off that, and then I'll say all right, we'll circle back later, or I'll maybe send, hey, how can I fix it?
Mhm.
A thing when you butt heads with someone with a trade, it's most of the time it's the difference between one guy or one pick. Like
Mhm.
maybe swap a guy and they swap a guy, or maybe add a pick and they take a pick. It's very minuscule stuff. It's just trying to figure out how close are we. Like,
Yeah.
are we far off or are we kind of close? We just got to tweak some stuff. Because if it's just tweaking some stuff, I'm fine with that. I can go mechanic mode on the
Yeah.
roster. We can fix it up.
Yeah. And I don't know if you want me airing your shit out, but the not airing your shit out literally, but the trade that I was offered, it came across my desk involving JSN in the first. Boy, never got anything close to that again. For Nico, never got anything close to that.
Hey, like Chip said, you can only send so many boats.
You can only send so many boats. That's a good trade, Buck. It's a good trade.
I want to sometimes get through to you that I'm not out to get. No one in this league's out to get anyone in a trade
No.
necessarily.
No.
Unless you're Steph, and that's neither here nor there. But no one's really, malicious. Everyone just kind of wants to get a fair deal done. And I think maybe just a little more patience with Riley will get you closer. Funny you say that though. Are there any other managers that maybe you've been feeling a little weird about? You can't connect with.
There's no excuse because it's just like lack of. It's just why. Like it's so dumb. But
The issue is when these mistakes they stack up and stack
compound.
up. Something's got to give here. And maybe Justin Katzen is the answer. I'm not sure.
This question is going to reveal a lot. Now we know Bush mentioned he was probably tanking this season, or I don't think I'm in the wrong for saying this, okay? Or at least that's on the table.
Yeah.
Now my question is, if you're going to do that, have you looked into the 2026 class at all?
Yeah, well, we have Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate's probably coming out. Ohio State receiver, great player. Well, we'll see. I mean, he's a great wide receiver 2 or 3. He's not going to be your wide receiver 1.
Nate, okay, got a little okay. So we got some personal vices that are leaking into your fantasy success.
Exactly. I'm kind of like Michael Jordan, and when he in '92 when he had to get suspended for 2 years or so.
Chip, can you do me a favor?
'93.
Can you put the number, the 1-800 number, the anonymous number? I just want everyone in the league to have access to it, just in case. I don't want your vices or extracurriculars to bleed into your fantasy success. I want everyone to be level headed. I know it's fun.
At least give the optionality. Let them know the resources.
Yeah.
1-800 Gambler. Yeah.
That's all I got for you, Drew. Unless you got anything else.
No.
This is the longest recording we've ever done, so there's got to be some good stuff in here.
This was the Andrew Liscano tell-all live here on Market.
We might have to just drop this as a pop-up, like a
raw. It's a guest. It's a special guest appearance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got a great opportunity. We recorded a great episode, man. I think there's a lot to be learned from this. And I think the league's going to appreciate it.
Yeah, it's just refreshing to dive into it and clear the air on certain things. And,
I'm gonna be dead serious, bro. I don't think you give a shit. I'm gonna be. It's honestly it's kind of disrespectful to a guy like me. Like a guy like me who really really dives into this stuff. I know way too much about what's going on in the league, and when you come on and you have this demeanor, it just kind of gives me you don't really give a shit.
What's the demeanor? This is my demeanor all the time. I don't know how to change it.
The perfect sort of cherry on top to this episode is the biggest 30-day riser on Keep Trade Cut is Kalel Mullings.
Hey now, talk to him.
30-day riser, Kalel Mullings up 287 points. Drew B, you played the stock game here. You're up. Are you going to take profit on Mullings, or what can the league expect here? Are you swapping Mullings for a 28 fourth, or?
Well, I don't think there's a point in swapping him for a 28 fourth. Like, where's the value in that? I'm rebuilding. I have a rookie running back. I have to have young guys. If I could trade him for a player if he pops, then great. I'll trade him for a young receiver or a good draft pick. But I do need receivers. So hit my line, young receivers, youth. They don't have to be good this year. It could be Egbuka, wide receiver 3.
Back to the Ohio State shit. God damn it.
They don't have to be good. Just give me the 109.
This guy's beating a dead horse over there.
Give me a first round pick. He doesn't have to be that good.
I just appreciate how true to yourself you are. Like his mind's racing. He's thinking young receivers. What receiver can I say? And he goes, Egbuka.
Because didn't he get drafted? Where did he get drafted? Fuck, I should know that. I'm sorry. What was it? Seattle?
This is what I'm talking about, man.
No, hold on.
You don't
Because I
even
do know
know.
it. I knew it at the time.
This is
He's trying to
Oh,
trade for
Tampa.
guys.
Tampa. It's Tampa, yeah. Because he's wide receiver 3, and they got McMillan. There's a lot of guys in there. So, if he's not producing, you never know. Maybe I can go get him. I'll have to throw in some equity.
Mr. Wacker, you gotta take a long look in the mirror and just kind of realize you don't even know where Emeka Ibuka got drafted in the first
I
round.
did know. I just forgot. I haven't done the football thing in a minute.
And
It's
you're
been since the
telling me you
finals.
don't need another GM in that room.
Since the
Nothing about what we have seen. I just want to make this abundantly clear if it isn't already. Nothing about what has been demonstrated today should suggest to anybody that there shouldn't be a second GM in that room. That's where I'm at with it. It just pointed in the right direction. All right. You got a big old 12-gauge shotgun. You just need help aiming it.
Yeah, and I understand where you're coming from, but here's what I'll say to that point. You got 2 options here. You got a fork in the road. Okay, or the third option, which is in the ground. Okay, so I either do the research, give the effort, or house is on fire and I just got to get a second GM. But it's not time yet, guys. This is my rookie year. You're
gonna try to reel it in here in the sophomore slump, try to reel it in, and get your draft picks.
Who needs support?
Gotta get the passion
point. Who needs support at their low? Get the support when you're at your best and you know what you're doing.
It's just no. I'm saying house falls, whatever. I'm still terrible in a year or two.
Then call the guy to fix the problem when the house is falling.
Exactly. But at least let me try and fix my problems first.
Oh man.
And I can do that. I could do that by actually getting back into looking at football, which it's hard for me. I'm one of those fans that it's I love it. I love watching every Sunday and everything, but it's really hard for me in the middle of summer. I'm a very active person in summer, and when the weather gets hot, I'm outside. So it's just I will say I've not been focusing on football at all the last at least 4 weeks, 5 weeks since the beginning of June. That's kickoff for me. That's when the regular season starts for me. In terms of having fun.
in terms of what exactly?
In terms of
go back to the analogy in the bar with the girl you're talking to,
goes
and the
back
hotter
to that
girl
analogy.
walks by. Next time you go to your local watering hole, I want you to look around. I want you to picture all the female prospects in that bar as dynasty players. All right.
Okay.
I want you to put a title on each one of them. That's Jaden Reed. Maybe he could pop. Maybe falls off a cliff. That's the Jamar Chase right now. It kind of gets your mind back into the flow state of dynasty football, because I think you need something to snap you out of it.
And on that same topic, who would you compare this prospect to? If there was an overweight woman with a pretty face, and she's not too overweight where it's obese, but it's give her 3 months get her into the gym, all of a sudden you got one of those transformations. It's possible. It's about their effort, but it's possible. What do you think? Who's that prospect?
I think that's like a Xavier Legette type of guy. You see where it could be, you see the ceiling, but it's really gonna be all on that player if they figure it out. That sounds like an Xavier Legette type of build. I'm not too sure though.
I understand where you're coming from. Like I said, it's on me. The buck stops here. Gotta do my research. I can attribute the bad dealings to that. Literally, tangibly, I can completely agree with that. So I think that's why I've been extra careful with trades. Extra careful.
I want to reach out a branch real quick.
Sure.
Chip, are you willing to put that same deal on the table for Brock Purdy?
Well, I've got to keep the integrity of the bit and the show. So what I would be willing to do is give you a modified offer.
Off the air.
I'd do it on the air, but it would be different than the one you got.
Okay.
So this would be a 2026 second, a 2026 second, a 2026 second, and a 2027 third for Brock Purdy. I'll throw in Dylan Gabriel as well.
Okay.
3.6 seconds, a 27 third in Dylan Gabriel.
Let's see here. Well, how would it look if I rejected it on the pod and then everyone checks and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh shit, he did it with worse offer."
Well, by the time they checked, they would have heard.
Fair point. It's a fair point. Let me see what this.
This is just like a teaching moment where we tell them about.
No, I
tell them
was
about
able
the
to
boats.
be. I was able to be. Obviously not Dylan Gabriel's best showing. But I did come away from that game at the Rose Bowl. For the viewers that don't know, I was there. Should I show everyone my beanie?
Were you going to accept the deal?
Oh, sorry. So I was impressed with Dylan Gabriel. Even though he was pretty bad that game. It was just he was a little shifty, like trying to get around. He got sacked 9 times, so maybe not much, but it wasn't his best showing. I'm sorry, Browns did it.
3.26 seconds, a 27 third in Dylan Gabriel for Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I think I'm gonna go throw Slayton on there.
Okay, sure.
All right, and now make that another 20-27 second instead.
The deal's the deal, man. I can't. I gotta say.
Do you want Brock Purdy, man?
Not
QB
about that. You want to make this deal. That's what you. I'm okay to walk away. We're over here talking about 27, 20. Look, you got.
Yeah. Here's what I'll tell you. I'll scour the market. I'll see if I can get any first round picks because that's my goal. And if I can't, then I'll come back and we can do something at least similar to that.
All right. Fair enough.
You cool with that?
You could have had the first deal to be done on the market. You better hope I have those picks, and I haven't traded them.
Hopefully that boat still has gas in it, and it can pass the island another time.
All right, fuck it. Send the trade.
Wow. Let's do it. I'm sending the trade right now. Hold on.
Send it. Hey, I'm getting a Cam Ward value on top of it, apparently, right?
That's exactly right.
That's exactly
as of right now, the calculator is telling me Matthew Golden, DJ Moore, George Kittle, Jalen Waddle, George Pickens, all those players would even this trade.
I like that.
Derby is winning by a whopping 4,500 points.
I like that. My team is going to be so fucking bad. Holy shit.
And as the commissioner, before you click accept, I just want to make sure you're doing this in a level-headed sense and you're not feeling pressure from, the live show to make this deal. This is, you know what you're doing here. You're trading away Brock Purdy.
Right.
For 3 seconds, a third, Dylan Gabriel and Darius Slayton.
Yeah. Let me look real quick.
Darius,
so I would have 5 second-round picks next year. Do you think we could just do the 20-27 second instead?
You're saying 2 2026, 1 2027.
If you want 27 second, what I would have to do is I would probably give you 2 seconds and a third. I wouldn't give you.
I don't think it's worth 2. I don't think it's worth 2 for 1.
Or I could give you 2 seconds and 2/3. That would be like the middle ground there. So
I'm gonna stay out of this.
Yeah,
this is a moment where if you had a co-manager, you could.
I think I'm gonna go with the.
Hate you calling up. What's that show? Deal or No Deal? They call it
Phone a Friend.
Phone a Friend.
Phone a Friend. Who?
You want to phone a friend right now?
Who would I call?
I'm going to send you this trade, and I'm not saying again. You do not have to accept this. The commissioner is here. Do it of your own volition. This would be. I'm going to send you the 2 trades we've discussed.
I'm gonna call Garrett.
Interesting choice.
It's good for the show.
Not Katzen?
No, because you guys want me to call J-Cat. I'm gonna fucking call J-Cat.
That's who Garrett calls.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Let me look at who's in.
3 seconds, a third. Dylan Gabriel, Darius Slayton for Brock Purdy. That is what's on the board right now. Pending Mr. Wacker.
It's kind of a haul.
I mean, I'm just saying, at the end of this night, you could have Darius Slayton on your roster.
That's big, man. That's big. With Jackson, is he still on the Giants? Yep.
It's a good Malik Neighbors handcuff.
And it's a great nickname, Slay Tons of Pussy.
Clip that.
All right, I'm sending the trade.
All right. Let me
Trade
see
is
here.
sent. Will we get our first trade to go down on the network tonight? I mean, there'd be no better way to cap this stream off. I mean, this is a stream.
We may in the future have to do something's about to pop off in the trade market. Maybe we hop on the live real quick, just get the transaction done over. I like it though. I like this segment a lot.
I agree. I think, but then all of a sudden you guys are making hella fucking trades.
It doesn't have to be with me involved. I mean, we can
you coordinate.
We could talk about, we can have Garrett on. And
you could have a surprise guest come in and drop a trade live on the network.
Exactly. Exactly. You're going to use your phone a friend here?
Yeah, I'm just going to see what his take is just for fun, All
right,
let's
Let him know you're live on the network.
I will.
Hello, this is Garrett.
That's why I was questioning the usage.
Do you want to do it?
Wait. Let's try.
You got Furrow?
Let's try Noah. Let's try Noah Furrow. I like Noah.
He might be trying to backdoor me live here on the network. Here we go.
He might be going
backdoor.
The Cam
backdoor.
Let's get into some context of that after this call. Damn.
Wednesday, man. It's hard to get through to people.
True. Could be margarita night down at the local taco spot.
Exactly.
It could be
4th of July around the corner. All roads point to you making this decision here, Mr. Wacker. Are you clicking accept, or are we gonna end this live?
We're gonna end this show with special guest Terry Bushwhacker with a bang, boys. With a bang. Brock Purdy is now a member of, what's your team name? Chip.
Let me see your best Brock Purdy impersonation.
Of MLK and
Okay.
You're only getting this live on the network. Andrew Liscano here. Andrew Liscano, tell all the Harry.
Hey, I'm trying to get crunk. Tell them why they don't come. Tell them why they better run. Stand up and get crunk. Stand up and get crunk. Here we come to get you. Okay. You better get crunk. Here we come to get you. A little bit more. Here we come to get you.
Only on the network.
That only happens here, guys. It only happens here.